sharing what makes Disney cruises so magical, plus this week's wet spaghetti. Come aboard, we're expecting you. Bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
You gotta love your cold opens, I swear. Welcome to another episode of Bring Back the Magic. This episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle. Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
We got a great t-shirt for you. This is the Typhoon Lagoonies Never Say Die t-shirt brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle. So go on there and grab yourself a t-shirt today, and you should love it. Yeah, good things happen over there at Theme Park Chuckle. All right. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Josh.
And I'm his sister, Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard. Please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, the notification bell if you're on YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Spotify, please hit the follow and make sure to follow the magic on our social media as well. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at BBT Magic Podcast.
Nice. I like that. And this program is rated TV 14, so your younger viewers have your parents' permission before you listen. We are always clean on this program, and I say that, but we're not.
We are. Just we talk about drinking is the main reason we give that rating.
Don't drink, kids. You'll end up like me, and it's a horrible thing. And if anybody was lucky enough to watch our Instagram before we recorded this episode, you can see what I was wearing before this. And all I got to say is I'm sure Gina will post it somewhere as a hard copy.
I feel like it does need to be a reel now from the amount of traction
she'll make
it's got
it in there,
already.
and the bane of my existence will be shown. So
Josh in a
nice.
medium.
Yeah, just say, have you ever wondered what I'd look like a sausage casing?
Or in a child's t-shirt. I'm confident it's not a child's t-shirt, but I thought you looked kind of buff.
Okay, we talked about my weight gain. I will say this. I just got back from a cruise. And you know what? On this show, we love our viewers out there. We're privileged enough to have really wonderful Disney community that supports us and we've become friends with. We love each and every one of them. Everybody we have right now, if it stopped just there, we'd love every follower. It didn't have to go any further. We'd love it to go further, but we love engaging with people.
We're very grateful.
Come along with my weight loss journey because I got on the scale and I'm not ashamed to say I'm like 240 some pounds. Same. And I was like, because I also walked into my house thinking that I was overestimating my weight. I was like, I'm 6'2", 240 something thinking I'd get on the scale and be like, oh, you're 230. And I'm like, no, you're 242. I'm like, oh my God.
230. You know what that means? It's time to go to the dentist. 230.
I'm horrible. It's a horrible existence being me. Anyway, so I am wearing my Star Wars Day at Sea shirt. It's a long sleeve, and it's the only thing I had that matched. Gina, what shirt are you wearing? I
am wearing the shirt that I actually got shirts for our whole family back in 2016.
Here comes the story.
Briefly, I'll keep it. And that's how I told my family I was pregnant with my son Massimo, is I gave everybody shirts with their name on it for the cruise that I got made. And then I had an additional one for me that said baby on board. And I said, and this is my shirt.
Lordy,
and I remember Tiffany, your wife, I remember her looking and smiling and going, what? Like, it was so fun. So this shirt holds great memories for me. And the fact that it still fits me this many years later.
That's a cool way to put it, though. It's like, oh, baby on board, not, hey, I got knocked up.
Yeah, that was the second. That was the second object.
Don't let Josh design said shirt. No. Hey, I'm bringing a baby with me. Congrats. Yes. Anyhow, I just got back from a cruise. Okay, lead in with that. So I got back from a cruise. I was on Royal Caribbean. I was out of Bayonne, New Jersey. And I'm say this because our theme of the episode today is going to be cruising. It's going to be the magic of Disney cruises. And I'm on there and I'm like, I always compare things to Disney experiences and everything. So while I was on there, I actually met a wonderful couple that, first of all, I cruise by myself. Everybody's like, how does your wife let you cruise by yourself? I don't know. It's a great mystery. I love you, honey. I don't know. But I'm not weird. I don't go around. I'm not one of those weird guys.
No, you make friends everywhere.
But
You're very social.
I do end up having a a bunch of people that I talk to on the ship. I basically DJ the pool bar because I'm sitting there with a Bluetooth speaker. You're not even supposed to have one, to be honest with you. But all the guys from Jamaica, I play reggae music, and they're like, "Oh, we love this. Turn it up." So I'm at the bar. I'm like, I should just get paid by Royal at this point. But I met these two people in a hot tub, and it was Alyssa and Angelo. I kept calling him Lonzo, and it's like, he's gonna have you ride to us. He's gonna. He goes, I was like, man, I'm sorry, I'm old now, and this will happen to you too. Just give me a break. So I met them, and I find out they're big Disney fans. Not only that, they got engaged out on the Seven Seas Lagoon, like on a fireworks cruise. Oh, and I'm watching, I'm like, ugh, like this, like I might get teared up now. But it's like, it was so beautiful. Like, he proposed to her. It was like, she loves Tangled. So cool. And I'm watching this thing. I'm like, this is amazing. It's like her favorite thing. I go, yeah, they gave you a bathroom in Magic Kingdom. I go, you love Tangled, but they gave you a bathroom. But Alyssa and Angelo, wonderful people. I gave them each a challenge coin that I had because I brought some. I was like, if I run into some Disney people, I'll say, make sure next time you go back, use this. Yeah. But shout out to them because they were just a wonderful couple. Younger, 20s. Kind of couple, but had that love of Disney. We went back and forth and discussed. It was really, really nice. But that's about the Disney community. That's what it's like. And I'll put it out there. When you meet great people when you're traveling, and you're just like, oh, you're Disney people too. Like, you're not weird. Like, you're not weird. This exists more than you think it is, and it's not like so taboo to like talk about. But we went over all our different favorite things that we like to do and all. I'm like, yeah. So I think I actually might see them next month when I go, because I'm out on a different cruise next month for Star of the Seas.
Yeah. Remember when I said to you, I'd love to take a cruise out of New Jersey with you. Are there any weekend ones? You're like, no, because you wouldn't get anywhere.
They're like, let's take a weekend cruise. Where did you cruise to? The Statue of Liberty and back? Drop me off on Ellis Island.
I wasn't even thinking that. You're like, Gina, I cruise for 2 days before I get to Orlando. And I was like, oh, because I was just thinking that'd be so convenient to just be a cruise out of like New Jersey or in Pennsylvania.
That's great. We'll just book the one way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking that.
You know what's funny though? If they did offer, we'd do that though. We're just that kind of person, or people rather. There's two of us. That you would cruise down and be like, listen, if they just had a cruise just like take you from Bayonne to Orlando, you'd be like, yeah, I'll just drive down. I'll just go.
That's fine. That's
and you find one. It's like, that's our way back. We're just gonna go hop on this cruise ship to go back.
Yeah, be like, can we get on there on this cruise, stay at Disney for a couple weeks, and then hop on the other cruise on its way back? That sounds great.
Oh my goodness. No, it's a fun existence. Like I always tell people, I'm like, you know what?
Cruising is your favorite. You love
it. Is next to Disney World. Okay, cruising is the number 2 option for me all the time.
Number 2, poop cruise.
Yeah. Yeah. God,
guys, check out Trainwreck Poop Cruise if you haven't. God, that's a story on Netflix.
I'm like, I feel like that's the new Fire Festival or something. It is. It's like
that whole show though. It's called Trainwreck. That whole show is like about things like that. Like there's one about American Apparel, which I never knew that was controversial. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. What else is
That's
new?
fine. This is all
but
great.
Poop Cruise is a crazy one to watch.
Let's see how many times we can word
the word Poop Cruise.
Poop Cruise.
Poop Cruise. Poop Cruise.
Chicken Poop Cruise.
Rob will be tagging me, tagging Poop Cruise on all of our next posts.
Oh my God.
It won't take long.
But
I think what's great about this, Josh, is because you are an avid cruiser. I think a lot of people have the number one question, not that we're getting to the main topic yet because we still have wet spaghetti, but is people asking like, why is Disney so much more expensive? Why do you do Disney? Why is it so different? What's the difference? So we will get into that. Mm-hmm. And it's a meaty topic, I think. There's a lot of things to
There is, and
break down.
It's weird because there's a lot of options in the cruise community.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, we'll get into what those options are and tell some comparisons. I've worked up. You know, it's the first time I think I did a little bit of research. It's probably all
Oh my
wrong.
God. I was stunned. I walked in, Josh goes, I'm doing research. And I was like, clutch the pearls.
Like, we don't do this. Who are you?
I was like, I feel out of place. Let me quick, let me make some notes.
It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo. Who is he really? It's old man Weatherby from the mall. You kids. Yeah, so she came in and I was doing some research just in like size comparison of ships and how like different service things are. And I'll probably forget to put most of it in there. But you know what? Know that I did.
But we joke all the time about how we don't do any research. It's not because we don't want to be in the know. It's because we do prefer to just base things
It's
on our
more like
memory.
because we don't know.
Right. But we do like to kind of test our own memories at this age. But then additionally, we do not promote ourselves. We actually anti-promote ourselves as any kind of educational fact cast. We like to share with you
Have
our
you seen
opinions.
the people out there that like it's crypto? This is not financial advice.
Yes.
We need that. It's like this is not.
We like
based
to
on
share
real
with you what our
events.
feelings are because we've been going to Disney forever. And I think there's a very big difference between the person who is super like book smart on Disney and has read everything. Sometimes that can work against you though, because you're going to read it's kind of like diets. You'll read this person says do this person says do this. We were kids. Steve Birnbaum had the official guide to Walt Disney World printed every year. Our dad still is obsessed with that. It will come out every year. And that was before really the internet was a thing and definitely social media. That was your guide.
We used to play Disney, you and I, when we were
All the
kids,
time.
and act like people were calling in for reservations.
Yes.
It was on an old 286 computer, and we're sitting there going, I made like an entire like spreadsheet thing in there. It wasn't even spread. It was like whatever program. I don't even
Like,
know.
we're talking MS
It was
DOS
his
here,
DOS.
guys.
You know, it was DOS.
MS
So like,
DOS.
I'm sitting there and I'm going through. I'm like, I had all the room rates for everything. I say, oh, you're coming in November.
was
Okay,
so
it's going to be about $100
exciting.
and some dollars a night. I'm like, you look
But
back.
the
I'm gonna
Birnbaum
see.
book used to always say what about when you get in line for a ride, go left.
Yeah, go left.
They'd always say go left, go left, go left, go left, because everybody naturally goes to the right in
And
America.
if more people
go
buy these
left.
books, go
And then
left.
it started being, they changed it and they said, go which one is the shortest line because everybody started going left, you know. But anyway, the whole point
That's what
on
I
that
said. But if everyone buys this book, go right.
Right. But the reason that I was bringing that up is because the idea that when you want to be like book smart educated on Disney, it's a slippery slope because there are different philosophies out there. There's going to be somebody that tells you, oh, rope drop. Somebody else says, no, don't rope drop the big rides, rope drop the little rides because then it'll confuse the heck out of you. So that's why Josh and I prefer to give you like things based on our experience rather than clouding it with a bunch of, facts.
And remember, yeah. Who needs these? Look,
Are you trying to resist the idea that you're dry and deadpan now, throwing in some Uncle Joey type comedy?
yeah, what was
Cut
with
it out.
your stinking intricate? Your Chat GPT thing hates me.
First of all, Henry loves you, and secondly,
I think he feels like I'm 104 years old and a spinster or something.
I personally feel like his assessment of which of us was funnier was very fair and
You are
very.
funnier. I told you
He
that.
didn't say one of us was. He said it's your type of brand of comedy. We each offer something different, but that's just who we are. We're not trying to be comedians. We're just like this.
Oh my goodness.
We're just like this.
Yeah, we're not really factual. You know,
No,
that's-
I
and
just
that's fine.
said don't come to us with like expecting.
We're
that we're gonna
also
give you
not travel agents. So did you notice?
Yes, I did.
What happened? Did you notice anything on your?
For those of you watching on YouTube, I have a little Groot on my desk, and I just noticed that Josh stuck some mini Kinder Egg size stitch in his hair. And I just saw, that's why you were asking if
actually-
everything was lined up. And I said, did you hide something?
Careful with your microphone. That's going to sound great.
That's fine.
No, I've hidden them everywhere around the studio.
Oh my God.
Don't look now. We're in the middle of filming. I'm sure you'll find one.
All
One will
right.
fall on your head. Anyway, so it's like,
He literally is everywhere. Everybody just keeps proving my point. Stitch is everywhere. Stitch is everywhere.
I just like the fact that it bothers you, and I'm here for it. So let's get into some other things here. So one of the things we've been talking about is a new segment that we do called Wet Spaghetti. Yeah, that was me making that sound effect. I feel like
It
was
sounded like
all the
actual spaghetti.
time. If your spaghetti sounds like,
It's beyond done.
yeah, this spaghetti,
So if you found
farted.
out,
What is that?
this is your first time.
Hashtag spaghetti farts.
If you are watching us for the first time and you were not watching
Sorry.
last week's episode, we introduced this with wet spaghetti. Basic, real quick rundown is it's our way of throwing ideas out there as if they're rumors, but they're really just Josh and I's suggestions. But we're calling them rumors to see if they gain traction, like wet spaghetti. Throw it against the wall, see if it sticks, and all of a sudden Disney gets it and goes, "Hey, that is a great idea. Let's pretend it was ours." So that's our wet spaghetti. It's really a wish list, is what it is.
So my wet spaghetti for this week, I heard that at the Aloha Isle, they were going to start doing a Dole Whips reward card. For every so many Dole Whips you receive, you get a free annual pass. So I feel like I've eaten more Dole Whips than I paid in an annual pass fee.
That is probably true. That's a very, very, very heavy wet spaghetti. I don't know if that's going to stick.
I'm telling you, but it's weird. 'Cause it's not the greatest of reward cards. You have to. It's for every 3,000 Dole Whips you buy, you get like the worst annual pass where it's blacked out like every weekend.
They're like, you have to be coming here for 10 years before you get an annual pass because you can't get them anymore.
Hey, Grandpa, you can either here's your inheritance or here's an annual pass.
Right.
I don't even know what that means. Makes no sense.
My wet spaghetti will come as no surprise. I'm sure everyone has heard this. I heard that Disney will actually be starting the glimmering greenhouses at Living with the Land on November 1st. I heard that maybe they were pulling social media and they were checking things out. Maybe they saw a girl who's been ranting about it consistently and about how it's not fair. They go to all the lengths of hanging those lights and they're only going to have them up for like a month. It doesn't make any sense. So yes, Disney, I do agree with this idea of yours. Start them November 1st. It's an immediate celebration. The land is a great little ride. It deserves the attention.
I don't know why I'm laughing the way I'm, but I just want to put the hashtag Gina didn't kill herself. So it's like Disney's like, enough this woman ranting about we can't have all this.
I was looking at the camera, so I thought you had a stitch coming up on the screen is what I thought was happening.
Gina's
but
like,
anyway,
if I disappear.
2 months.
Sorry.
2 months of the glimmering greenhouses is all we asked for because truth be told, Epcot right now doesn't have anything as far as holiday decorations that's like a wow factor. Spaceship Earth glows all year round now. What is their wow factor decoration? Okay, remember I talked about how they used to have the arches that went into World Showcase and those were really pretty, but what is it? Tell me if I'm missing it. What is the wow factor other than each country having its little
They're like,
decorations?
we're going to throw a Santa hat on Figment.
So, right. So if you had the glimmering greenhouses, that's a wow factor. That is something, that little ride, like it just deserves it. And I would love to see it. I will be there at the beginning of November. So I need this lights to be going. And wet spaghetti it is.
It's a wet spaghetti moment.
See if it sticks. Comment down below if you would like to also see them start November 1st.
That's a great wet spaghetti moment.
Thank you.
So let's get into it. Let's get into it here because this is a topic that you and I have really been looking forward to doing.
Yes.
Because we absolutely love, just spoiler alert, like most things at Disney. I know you hear us say something, we don't like this thing. We absolutely love the Disney cruise.
Yeah.
We have more than enough stuff to say about this. It probably will be a slightly longer episode because that happens when Gina and I are really passionate about it. Not that we don't like the other things. You're like, what about all the shorter episodes? Wasn't your thing. Anyway.
So get some popcorn, take a bathroom
This
break.
is the magic of Disney cruises, okay?
Right.
This is what this is. Like that. So you got to put the horn in there. I hope that YouTube doesn't take this down for some reason. Like, you put the horn in there.
The fact that they can trademark a foghorn is crazy.
And by the way, anybody listening on Spotify,
yeah,
please watch the YouTube of this because we're stupid on this one. So you're probably going to want to. I'm sure there'll be enough visuals.
Come
visuals.
aboard.
Watch them both. Especially Gina's cold open because if you know one thing, everyone loves hearing Gina sing now because it has become the new William Hung from American Idol from New
Do
Age.
they love it or do they love to make fun of it? I don't need to know the answer.
I think you're a wonderful person and I love you. So here's the deal. People are like, why Disney cruise? Why would you go on that? They're like, but it's always the big discussion is the expense of a Disney cruise. And I've got to be honest with you. Every cruise has its expense, obviously. I would say, conservatively, if you were going on a week-long Disney cruise, most time, and you're like in a family ocean view balcony kind of thing, you're talking about $5-6 for like a family of 4, probably somewhere in there. I might be off on my numbers in it. I didn't really research that.
How many
but
days
I know every
did you
time
say?
I looked
For
at
how
it,
many
might be
day-
3 people, maybe.
How
3
many day
people.
cruise?
It's like a 7-day.
Yeah, I would think that's
So it's
about
somewhere
right.
in that range, but it's
Because the first 2 people are always the most expensive in the room, and
I-
then the other 2 break down to a
and
smaller
I will
cost.
say this, especially the family ocean view staterooms they have. It's with veranda, they call. Those are really nice rooms. There's a couple different types of them. One has like, a pull down bed that's like off the wall, which is nicer if you have something that's bigger. And then they have the other ones, the bunks that, the couch flips over and the bunk comes down from the ceiling. And occasionally even have ones that have like,
The Murphy.
yeah, they have like that plus the thing. So it's
Right.
like, it's
I was
going to
say maybe the best way to devise this episode, and it's probably where you were going anyway,
This is where Gina's like, can I direct it the correct way? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because there's so many different topics, is taking each category and then revisiting the idea of cost at the end, because you kind of need to know all those things.
We're going to
So starting off saying, we are aware cost is the big factor for everyone.
And that's why
so when you hear these things, then we'll
I'm
revisit.
referencing it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This is only
No,
just
I agree with you.
referencing.
I said.
So for that kind of cost, most people's ears perk up and they're like, that's a lot, which it is.
Right.
It's, a lot of, it's about comparative to taking your family, like we talked about before, same kind of cost on land.
Yeah.
Now, difference is, I feel like the immersion even gets bigger on the sea than it does on land, because everywhere you're around, it's Disney, 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 Disney.
Yeah.
You don't have the opportunity. It's not when you go to Disney World and you said, I want to skip over to Universal. Now, you do have islands they visit. Castaway Cay is a gorgeous private island. Now they have, what's the other one called? Lighthouse Point. Lookout Point.
Research.
I get it wrong every time.
I think
it's like me in the Disney
Lighthouse
DVC
Point.
lounge. I'm like, what,
Yeah.
McKinney's? It's
I think
McKim's.
it's Lighthouse Point. Oh, McKim, by the way, was the name of an Imagineer. I found that out recently, that's why they named it McKim's. There
You
was an
stop
Imagineer.
researching things because it really takes away the funny. I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
I was
No.
gonna-
So what was I even saying? I think I had a.
You were
aneurysm
talking
here.
about how it's a beautiful island, how it's got
So
the
all the
immersion.
stuff, but yes, you get off at a different port. It's kind of like, oh, you went to Universal for the day or something. So there is that kind of like similarity, because you're in a different locale that's not Disney. Okay, so you don't have to be in that thing. But for the most part, a Disney cruise, and I think where the expense comes into it, is that ability for Disney to cater to the customer. Okay, it's an experience. And I've done some comparisons, and we'll get into them, like with the Royal Caribbean ships. Okay, like from like the biggest ship on the ocean they have to the biggest one Royal has. I'm using Royal as an example. I'm what they
A
call
frequent Royal.
loyal to Royal, but I've gone on many different cruise lines, and I feel like they're the best comparison in this. They give really great customer service. I love them, but there's different things. Like it's like, okay, you have these big ships where, I'll give you an example. Next month, I'm going to be on Star of the Seas for a preview sailing. It comes out like, just after, I think it debuts its 7-day itinerary the week after I'm on it. So it's going to be neat. I've never done that before. I was like, okay, they have a couple before it, but this one's apparently that one. And that's a gigantic ship. To give you an idea, the biggest ship that Disney has right now that's afloat, they have Destiny coming out too, but it's 144,000 gross tonnage. Okay, so that's a lot. All right, with exactly my notes here, and it's about 1,120 feet long, basically. Now, when you compare it to Star of the Seas is coming out is 250,000 gross tonnage. Okay, the funny thing is about that, the smallest ship Disney has is the Disney Magic. And the Disney Magic is 83,000 gross tonnage. If you take the two together, you still do not have the Star of the Seas, and that's like big. And the smallest one Royal has is like the Vision of the Seas, or one like in that kind of class. It's like 78,000. So, kind of like comparison, there's smaller ships about the size of like little smaller than even Disney's smallest ship. But you get these comparisons back and forth from the different things, how many passengers they hold. And I know I'm running on here, but
That's
here
okay.
it is. Like, how many passengers you think Disney Treasure can handle? 4,000 guests with 1,500 crew on it. Okay, so you have 5,500 total on there. Star of the Seas is like 7,600 guests at max capacity. And when they say that, it's like you filled up every bed in there. And like usually they base it on double occupancy, it's 5,000 something. But they're like, if you filled every bed, it's going to be like 7,600. And they have like 2,350 in crew.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's 1,200 feet long. Now, I'm sure the deck heights and all this stuff is just massive. Like, you can see this thing. Give you an example. They're going to pull these boats next to each other, or ships. They hate when you say boat. They're like, it's not a boat, it's a ship. I'm like, okay, it's all nautical with you guys. So I think it's like Vision or Grandeur or something's going to be next to the Star of the Seas, which it's going to look like a tugboat.
That's
they want that
terrifying to me. First of all, I don't understand how any boat stays afloat. Ship stays afloat at that size, but literally that's like a gigantic building just like floating around on the sea. Like, bigger to me is not like more exciting.
There is charm, and that's the thing we'll say about even like Disney or like there's a charm to that. And I think I put on our story, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it accepted it, while I was in port in Nassau, because I was next to the Disney cruise.
You did.
I never know what will work. Gina's a social media person. I'm techie, but apparently you put me into like the Instagram pages. I do everything wrong, and I'm like, I might send people. I'm the only person who can send a nude to somebody with my clothes on. Like, it's like, You're like, how did this even happen? I hit some button. It's like X-ray vision. But like that's kind of the way it is. But I'm like, I'm trying to be on the Wi-Fi and all, and I don't want to get off the airplane mode when I'm in port. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. But I was there and like the Disney Magic was there. And I'm like, I haven't seen the Magic in a while.
Yeah.
And it was just, but I got a big smile on my face. Everyone's like, what's this idiot walking around Nassau? He really likes Nassau.
Well,
but it was neat.
I think that, again, like, because there's so many different categories, overall, like Josh said, spoiler, we love Disney cruises. We understand that it's not something that everyone can financially pull together, but we just thought this episode would be valuable. Everything's not as simple as dollars and cents. So first of all, if you can't afford it, no one's going to force you to do it, obviously. But if you're looking at it and you're just looking at price comparisons of ships, we thought we could help you understand that on paper is not the only way you're going to understand why Disney is worth the money. So
100%.
First things first, which Josh already alluded to, let's start with the staterooms.
You know what's funny? God, we're in tune. Me and you were here just today. The rest of the time, garbage. Look, just kidding. What am I thinking right now? Purple is it? No, but look. So I was writing a list. I go, let's start with staterooms. I'm like,
Yeah.
Then we'll go from staterooms to meals.
Like
food and beverage kind of stuff.
You
and then
can
we'll
just
go to
call it from
entertainment.
where you want to go.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'll follow.
fine. I like this. Thank you.
I would say I think you would be pressed to find anyone who's been on a Disney cruise and any other cruise that would tell you that Disney does not have it on the staterooms. Every video I've seen, every review I've seen, Disney really did take the cake on that one. And it is partially because the rooms are bigger. They are also more intelligently designed. They have 2 bathrooms in the rooms.
Yeah, they
so
separate.
What that means is there is a bathroom with a toilet and a sink, and then a bathroom with a sink and like shower, tub shower. Some of them have like a little, depending on the kind of room you get. And that is great because if somebody is trying to go to the bathroom and somebody else needs to get in the shower, and especially with families when they're trying to give their kid, clean them up, and then somebody else has to go to the bathroom, very, very smartly designed and does not encroach on the space of the room. Mm-hmm. Also, they made the beds higher so you could slide your luggage underneath. I think other cruise ships are starting to do that, but it was a very intelligent design.
They have that on other
that you can slide. They were the first ones to do that, I believe. Also, what's amazing, guys, well, before I forget, if you go on Disney Plus, if you have access to it, and watch the making of the Disney Wish specifically, it will blow your mind when you see what goes into these ships. I'd seen other, videos in the past of other Disney ships, but this one really does break down the entire thing, how they make these on half and put the ships together. And they did what they did with the Contemporary. They make the rooms off site, decorate them, everything, and then slide them into the room.
It's a skeleton.
It's so wild how they do it. But anyway, so as far as that, if you have little kids and they pull down your kids' bedding, they will switch them to little Disney sheets for them. They have, in some of them, fiber optics on the ceiling,
it's
on the bunk beds.
It's attention to detail, really. That's what it boils down to.
And I will say, and this is a part of the category we'll get into later, theming on the ships is different. The different classes of vessels have different style theming. The Fantasy and the Dream, the Magic and the Wonder are going to go more nautical, like the kind of, not for lack of a better term, like the Titanic era, like that kind of classic nautical, whereas the newer ships are going more IP heavy.
Yeah, they are. Like, I think the newest one to come out will be Destiny. I believe Destiny's a superhero themed one.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that one. It's like the Sanctum Sanctorum or whatever it is, like with Doctor Strange and everything.
And Black Panther is like the statue in the lobby.
Which is cool. It's a cool nod to Wakanda.
And Spider-Man is on the bow.
What kind of ship is this? What kind of ship is it? I don't know.
So,
What's
Josh,
going on?
room-wise. Now, we have not stayed. Our family has stayed in some of the suites. I have not stayed in the suites. But
I was gonna
so
add
we're just
one
talking
thing.
standard rooms.
When you talk about like in the construction of the ships, just to give a little background, like a little knowledge, more you know. But it's when they go through, everything has to be considered from what I just told you about gross tonnage, all that stuff. The weight of a ship has to be considered. So when they're doing bathrooms and all, it's like they almost have like certain sink areas and everything's just like hollow, like on the one side. Like they try to cut weight where they can.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what they're able to put in these little spaces. If you went to a home and you were buying a house and they're like, here's the bathroom. I can't turn around in it. But if you go into this, like, this is huge. It's a different experience when you're on a cruise ship. Yeah. But I really do like, and I was going to point out, it's weird because when they do have like the split bathroom in there, when you have the little tub shower, and it's like this little circle tub, I'm like, I actually kind of like this thing. It's like a sitz bath, but you sit down in it, and it's not a huge one. You can't stick out your legs. But like, I'll go in there and just like I'll sit in the dang thing and let the water hit me and all, and just pull it. And it's actually very well contained. It's got some room to move around.
Yeah.
My complaint with almost every single cruise line out there is the shower space. Unless you have a very large suite that has like a true tub shower. Now, the one thing I will say, not throw shade at Royal. I love them. I just got back. And like I said, I do a lot of things. I get like casino offers. That's why I went and I would go on as many cruises as I do. It makes it a little more advantageous for me. It's a lot cheaper to do it that way. I had a junior suite on Royal. And I like it. It's big like stateroom or whatever. Especially it's only me. I got more than enough room to spread out. I got a nice balcony. I got like a couch and everything. The thing is, I don't know who came up with the fact of this shower. It's a tub shower. So it's got a full tub. But it's got a half door by like basically where the shower head is. It's like a half glass door. So I'm in there trying to back up like this. And then I'm like, is this just going to spray on the floor? Should I just not even open this and soak the entire bathroom? It's a bad design flaw.
Yeah.
If Royals ever listen, please, here's your wet spaghetti. I heard they're going to get rid of this trash. But the other ones have like, nicer showers. I'm like, how do I always get stuck with this? But Disney, I feel like that's always well contained. It's not uncomfortable to shower in, but it's also like, I will give people fair warning. If you haven't cruised and you're not, and like you're a first time cruiser thinking about going on the Disney cruise, first of all, do it. Okay. Make sure if you're going to go on your first cruise, so people don't have their sea legs. This is just a little knowledge for you. Sometimes you can hit rough seas. Go to time of the year, like maybe spring or something. Once you get into the summer months, you're getting into the hurricane season. You're going to hit some rough seas. Don't go in winter, but like think between the winter, summer, you get spring, around the spring area. Obviously, there you go. Now you know something new. But go that way so the sea's a little bit calmer. And realize that if you're a tall person, showering is not going to be the most comfortable situation because taller people, it's harder for them in certain things. I think there's one, and I'll actually send a shout out to this. I think it's Hard Travel. If you ever like watch them on YouTube, it's a really tall gentleman that's in it. Their videos are really well done for all the cruising things. They show you everything, but go and look at them. Shout out to them. Maybe I'll link them or something like that. And they don't need me. They have gajillion followers, but it's really, they do an incredible job. Yeah. So shout out to them. But you can see, because he's a tall guy, he's like, oh, I'm in this shower. And I'm like, he's like 6'6" or something. I feel like maybe it's like, could be like 6'4". I embellish, whatever. So that's one of the things to really know. If you're a taller person, if you're a bigger person, we talked about my weight journey. If you're a bigger person, some of these things aren't going to be comfortable for you, but there's tips that I have for cruises. I say on Royal, I was like, get the thermal suite for the week. They have what's called the rainforest on the Disney cruises.
I was going to say that actually.
Now
about showering.
It's a thermal like suite kind of thing where you have heated loungers. You've got Disney, by the way. Again, what do they take the cake on? That rainforest experience in their spas, so much better than everybody else. I feel like maybe like the Haven stuff that's in NCL, but that's like a suite section, not so much the spa. I feel like Disney does it the best.
The one on the Wish.
The Wish had a cold room. It had like bubbling up.
Incredible.
They had a cold room. It was bubbling up ice in the middle. It looked like ice was pooping out of the middle of the room. You're like,
yeah, poop cruise.
It's a frosty poop cruise.
No, gorgeously designed. So many different options.
Swing over a little meaningless creek in the
I
middle.
was just like, can I live here? I want to design my bathroom to look like this. If you do the Wish, definitely. I will say.
But you can use the locker rooms there. And I told people, I'm like, if you have all that access, you have access to the locker rooms, which have showers in them. Because people get massaged. You can use that, and the shower's 10 times bigger than the one you're going to be in your stateroom. Just take your stuff down there and get ready.
Also, a note of what Disney did well was when we were on, what was it, Wonder of the Seas that I went on with you on Royal Caribbean, and we did like their version of the thermal suite. Where it's located on the ship, when we were laying in there, how often did we hear clanging, banging, doors were like, is this supposed to be relaxing? It was so noisy in there that it was like carts going by, like a door slamming.
Like,
what are you
guys doing? Are you trafficking people underneath this thing?
I mean, maybe. But to close out the part about rooms, when we go, my mother is very insistent that we do. It's not about being bougie. She just, for claustrophobia reasons, my mom really likes to have a veranda room. Our mom likes to have a veranda room because she likes that. She uses it the most. She likes to go out on the balcony and just get some fresh air. It just makes her feel much more comfortable. Now, we won't get too into this story, but I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, and a lot of different stories have come out about it. But when we talk about safety of having a balcony room in Disney, they do have plexi on those railings. They're impossible to climb. Now, could you get a chair out? Yeah, sure, but let's not leave our children unattended, and that's not what happened here. But they have double locks on the doors like they are. Now, our sister Danny, she prefers to cruise in an inside room when she goes, because she said it just makes her feel safer that if her and her husband, her kids are, a little older, they're 14 and 10, but she's like, if we went and had a drink, that there's just not even that threat.
It's
of a
mainly
balcony.
just so one of them doesn't fall off the balcony. Because you're like, hey, we're in a family. Like I said, we drink. We do this stuff, but we're not sloppy.
Right.
Most of us.
Drinking and drunking are two different things. But anyway, so we prefer that. I will say, it's so hard to streamline this episode because there's so many different things that factor in. So we hope you get anything out of it. But what I was also going to say is, on that note, there are things like a 1-bedroom suite. There are bigger tower suites, Roy Disney suites, and things like that.
There's concierge. There's all this stuff. Yeah.
No, one of the things that I personally feel, because I have told my mom, our mom is turning 80 next year. That's a big year for her. But she also is 5 years since her brain surgery. I would like to celebrate that 5-year anniversary and go on a Disney cruise. And we have talked about, we've never done the concierge level, the club level. My thing is this: when we talk about cost, first of all, if you don't know this already, when you go is going to drastically change the cost. Always price compare on different months, because the prices can be thousands of dollars different. But if you are doing a veranda room like us and you go to do concierge, the cost is going to be a considerable difference. But for me, I feel like it's not worth it, because my mother doesn't drink. I have an 8-year-old son. He's not going to get the cost out of it. So why pay that? I'd rather pay actually a little bit more even and get a 1-bedroom suite. Because if I'm paying more and knowing that the room has also changed, the room that our mother loves to stay in a lot, the room that, my son's going to get used to, that to me is worth that additional. So it's, again, it's not just about dollars and cents. Sometimes you have to say to
They also
yourself.
have like a happy hour kind of like
They
thing
do.
where drinks are included and all.
Right. No, there's things that definitely come with it.
Well,
but I'm
that's
saying
the other
that Mom
thing.
and Mozzie are not going to get the money's worth out of it.
Well,
So for me, I'd rather say I'm paying more for the room and then
Well,
get
the
those
other thing about
perks.
Disney, I think we'd be remiss if we don't talk about. Most cruises charge you for a refreshment package to have sodas. Most of them have like lemonade, some juices.
Lemonade
and
and
all.
iced tea, I think, are usually the same. And then
Lemonade,
sodas.
juices, and stuff. Sodas are extra. Disney, all Coke products are included with your cruise.
All Coke products that are fountain Coke products.
Yeah.
If you go to the movie theater and you want to get a can of soda, because they give out cans, they don't do fountain for whatever reason, then you pay for the soda.
Yeah, I don't drink soda anymore, so this
I
doesn't
know.
affect me. But way to go and step on my point. So,
No, but
at
that
least
is a big thing. People that have
but you
sodas.
can go up to the top decks. They have self-service Coke
go before the
machines and
movie,
all
yeah.
that stuff. They have this, but it's also something that's an upcharge. Disney doesn't do a drink package per se, because I get it. There's two things Disney doesn't do. They don't do drink packages because they don't want people overindulging. Okay, they will watch how much they serve you, but they're not overly, bully about it. And then they don't do casinos. So casinos, because you think about it, it's a smart idea. You're with your family, and Dad wants to go into the casino and goes, and he stays all the time there. I got to chase this win and stuff. He loses time with his family.
Yeah.
He loses a lot of money.
Also,
his
the
family
smoke
has
that pours out of a casino.
Yeah, they don't really want that. They do have areas like in the ship where you have little smoking areas and stuff like that for people. They have little adult areas. They have stuff. They have something for everyone. And people always say, they're like, well, I'm an adult. Isn't that a kids cruise? I said, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes you can have more fun without your kids on the Disney
example.
cruise. So we went.
2 Novembers ago, I think.
Yeah, we went on the
2 October.
Disney Wish with a couple of friends of ours. Okay, one of our friends. Actually, we've been newly meeting her, kind of.
Well, one of our friends, which is Caitlin. If you listen to the bonus episode on Spotify,
So Caitlin,
she lost trivia.
Yeah, world's worst trivia contestant.
Caitlin, the trivia loser.
Caitlin. Her name was Caitlin.
Caitlin. Her name was
So,
Caitlin.
okay, one friend, we won't out them. We'll make up her name. We'll call her Katie. So her friend Katie was her name. So you can find her on Caitlin's social media. But she's a very sweet girl. She was celebrating her birthday. It was her birthday cruise.
Yeah.
And let's just say Katie celebrated her birthday. And we lost Katie. We thought, because Katie, if you were Crocodile Dundee, she went walkabout, okay? We thought she was passed out in the bathroom. At one point, we're like sending in recruits. We're like, somebody go in and check. We're like getting staff members. She went back to her room and passed out there. So at least she was okay. We're like, man. But yeah, she was. She enjoyed a lot of the magic on the Disney Wish. But I will say this: it was a fun trip. But we did a lot of the adult stuff. What was it, Enchanting or whatever the one restaurant? What was the high end one? It was like
we did Paolo. We didn't do
Paolo.
Enchanting. Enchanting is there, but we did Paolo. For brunch.
Paolo. That's what the one was.
We did Paolo brunch.
Paolo was its name.
Paolo.
So
Paolo.
It's a palo.
Palo.
It's a palo.
It's like Friends.
Yeah. So.
Palo.
Yeah. So, or Italian guys. So.
But what you were saying was about having a great time as adults. I agree with you because when you just said what we did, when I have my son with me, who's 8, and he hasn't been on a while, so he was even smaller the last cruises that we went on. I think the last one he was like 5 or 6 when me and Josh took him. But the thing about those is you have to make sure your child's entertained. And there's plenty to do for children. But on this cruise, we kind of had the freedom of we do what we want when we want. We didn't have that factor. So it was being able to float from lounge to lounge and really enjoy the adult experience. And I will tell you, we enjoyed it. There was no part of me that said, this isn't for adults. I felt like it was one of those rare times. I always love when my son is there. Shout out, by the way, to my son. I just want to say, this bracelet I'm wearing, he made for me out of a pipe cleaner and Joffrey straws.
Oh, I thought that was macaroni.
No, it's Joffrey straws. He cut out. Thank you, Massimo. But yeah, so
Best
like
straws in the business if you're in.
and it was a weekend cruise. It was a 3-night. So I feel like when you're doing all
shorter
adults,
one. It was a shorter one. And one thing is like, okay, so a lot of great things came out, and I've got to be remiss.
Oh God.
Okay, we went up and we were in the adult section. Actually, before then, we were in, what was that one nautical bar or whatever it was? The little, I can't remember the name of the bar.
the one where we met Rachel.
That's what I'm saying. So one of the
Yeah.
best things that came out is we met our friend Rachel, and you'll see us reference her, Rachel McHugh.
Magic.
McHugh Magic. She is wonderful. The group of girls she was with, everything else, her
Moms,
friends.
travel agents, like they were.
We
so
had
much
such
fun.
a blast. It was just like you found your tribe kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we saw them in the adult area upstairs. Like, oh yeah. So we forged this long-term friendship. That's again what happens on cruises. You'll end up meeting people from every walk of life and people you realize that you have some connection to somewhere. Sometimes we meet our good friend Stephanie. We talked about that before. Stephanie is in Daytona now.
Bigfoot. You may know her as Bigfoot or
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch from the
So if you
bonus
take a
episodes.
picture of her, make some money. So she's always blurry. It's the problem. Actually, it's the pictures Sasquatch takes that are the problem. But anyway, so you meet people and we're like, oh, you're not far from us. You become friends with them. And like, that's one of our closest friends now. That's the kind of thing cruising can do. And everybody wants to have a good time. Even the people you go up to, never judge a book by its cover. Some people just have that look like they're a pain in the butt. And you're like, I can get you out of your shell. I'm telling you right
like
now.
Caitlin.
Yeah. Caitlin's an amazingly wonderful girl.
Caitlin's great, but Caitlin will tell you she doesn't know you. She's not like Josh
She
and I.
looks
They're like,
judgmental.
whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. Like she's gonna
Yeah,
look
you won't
more
see her doing that.
standoffish.
Yeah.
We have a lot of friends like that though,
Yeah.
and obviously. But I was gonna say, Josh, this is an excellent point that you bring up because it ties very into the fact of we have had just a dream experience on social media. I mean, I really feel like for the handful of people that we've actually met in person, handful being Rob and Teresa, but everyone else that we have not even yet met in person. And I really believe these people are our friends. And I know they believe it too. And we stay in contact. We talk every day. They tell us what they loved about the podcast. So imagine if you can make that kind of connection with someone on social media through your mutual interest in Disney. Think how it is if you meet them on a Disney ship. Because the difference between a Disney ship and meeting someone in Disney World is you guys are all contained for this amount of time to this same vessel. If you meet someone in Disney World, they may be checking out the next day, you're checking in, they're going to be at this park tomorrow, you're going to be here. There's not as much time to guarantee an overlap. Where if you meet someone on the ship, you're like, okay, we all know we're all staying at the same hotel. We all know like when we check out is the same day. And it just makes for such a fun time.
Yeah, you want to get every second out of that trip. And it's also like Gina and I have talked about this before. We'd love to arrange at some point like a Disney meetup. Yeah. You know, like we're gonna be in Disney at this time, whatever. Like
drinks on Josh.
Which was immediately shot down by my wallet. I have all the best intentions. Yeah. Hear that credit card?
Do you take Vasa or Mooster card?
You know what's funny? After that episode aired, my credit limit was cut. They're like, I was like,
where's the sound effect for that?
Yeah, it's not. It's I don't know. Do we have one for that? I think we do.
Where's the buzzer? Don't you? Oh,
Yeah.
that is a good one.
I have a sound effect for that.
So basically,
Yeah.
like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Notifications. Yeah. Yeah, make sure you hit your notifications because that's.
But yeah, so if you can make friends on social media to that level, making them on a cruise ship is even more exciting because just
no, I love that stuff. I'm like, I'll tell you right now, it's to me, Gina. I don't know if you guys have noticed this from our podcast so far. Gina and I are outgoing. We're outgoing everywhere. So this is who we are. What you see is what you get, and we're I feel like we're always going to be unapologetically ourselves. And it's not everybody's flavor. We get it. Some people are just
I don't know
like
how to
people
be
who are like-"
anything else. Sounds exhausting.
But I want people to have a good time. And I just want to enjoy whatever amount of time I have. Nobody knows, not to be a Debbie Downer, how many days, hours, weeks, months, years you have left in life. But I'm like, they always said like YOLO, you only live once. They said, no, you only die once. You live every day. So might as well live every single day. And that's what I want to do. I enjoy the time with my family. I enjoy the time with my friends. I enjoy time with people I do not even know.
That is true.
And that's what I said. I'm like, I'll give you an example. I was just on that cruise and I'm by myself. I know nobody on this one. I was on Symphony of the Seas. Shout out to anybody that might be watching this was on there. Like, I almost said Alonzo, Angelo, Alyssa. God, they're going to hate me. But people might see me and be like, okay, like I didn't know all these people before I got on the ship. I'd never been on Symphony except for years and years ago. So the staff, I did see a couple people from Wonder, like the casino and stuff like that I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And they're like, hey, Josh, which is bad. People know your name like it's Cheers. But I go up and I'm like, I find a spot at a bar. Told you I'm like DJing this thing. I got my little JL audio or whatever like speaker, and I'm playing just the hits of reggae. And
That's what Josh calls music.
Oh yeah, that's what Josh calls music. Island man. So that was funny because there was a guy from Jamaica later on. There was like, and he had a real raspy, like Rasta kind of voice. He's like, oh yeah, man. He's like, you know this. And I was loving this guy next to me. I was like, this guy is great. I play something by any of the Marleys. He's like, yeah, Bloodline. And I was like, this is my new best friend.
I love it. Makes me irie. I always say that's my vibe, man.
But
I love it.
The bartenders are all saying, I wish I had taken out my little vlog camera and stuck it on the thing because it would have been great. You see all the guys that are bartending there, and they got a crap ton of them in a small space. It would have drove you and I crazy bartending or something in that space. But they're all singing along with all these different songs. They're saying, hey, man, do you have this one? And I'm like, it's a vibe. The same thing happens on the Disney cruise when you start talking to people. I'll give you an example. As we talk about, me and Gina, it's more like experiential than really, here's the facts about Disney cruising. So Thompson, at one of our favorite bars and one of our favorite ships, I believe, is the Fantasy. I think
I call that our home ship. The way, like, it's like that is our mothership.
The Disney Fantasy. I will tell you this also. If you are a cruiser and you haven't done Disney cruises, I would tell you right now, the Fantasy is the one I will recommend to everybody because the Wish when we got on, even though it's supposedly technically bigger than the Fantasy, I feel like the way it's set up, it's cramped. I also like the movie theater in the Fantasy better than I do them when they split them in the Wish. They have two sides and they're small. They're small little movie theaters. They do the first run movies and all. It's not a lot of people that it fits. The Walt Disney Theater's fine, all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I feel like those movie theaters are tinier. But I love the atrium because they have Bon Voyage bar and it's wide open. And it just feels like Gina and I were talking about it. If you do bring your kids, which most people will, if you want to grab a drink and there's a character photo over by like the one little shop section or like in the main atrium, or with they used to call it like the purser's desk or whatever, like all the cruise lines. Like now it's just like guest relations, whatever you want to call it. But you can sit there, have a drink. And everything comes back to drinking. But you can just relax and have a good time. And your kids can be out there playing, doing whatever they're doing. And it's a nice vibe there. But it feels wide open. I do like that. The Wish, they do like a little stage thing in the middle. It just feels cramped where it's in there. It's still a beautiful ship. It's kind of weird when you come down there, like the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge is like right there.
I think it's tough for people, and our friend Brad and Katie, they would fall in this category. If you've done the Wish first and then you do the Fantasy, I don't know what your opinion is going to be. They didn't love the Fantasy as much because if you walk into the Wish,
some people are dumb.
The
right,
Wish
Brad?
is so IP heavy, right? The Wish is full of exceptional Disney theme, which there's nothing wrong with. But if you've done the Fantasy first and you fall, and I warn everybody, I go, here's going to be the big differences. It is going to be far more maritime theming than Disney theme park character theming. There is going to be it's much wider and easier to navigate on the Fantasy. I will say maybe people fall a little more for the restaurants on the Wish because they love that there's the Marvel, plus there's the Arendelle, plus there's whatever the other one is, 1928.
No,
so,
neat.
28, 23.
1923.
23. Okay. So
it's the year Walt came to
right. Yeah, right. So those, I will say, maybe it does have it on that. But I personally feel like it does. It just feels like you're at home. You can navigate around so easily. That big atrium. When I get on that ship and they announce the Jeppy family, I cry.
That's the best part.
Time. It feels so magical. It just feels like something like you can't describe. I'm sure if any of you have been on a Disney cruise, please comment below because I'm sure that you have felt that same feeling when they're like, welcome aboard the Jeppy family. And we're like,
or when you hear the horn.
Right. But I would say for the fantasy,
Nailed it.
Like it's just something about the layout. It's like Josh said, and also about the fantasy, you can see outside more. I was blown away when we were in the Wish, how many places you'd be and hallways where you couldn't see outside. There was like not windows. It was kind of like, it felt kind of boarded up.
My thing was, it's like, I feel like everything was just, it was tight and there was like narrow hallways. And I go, look, the other one feels what, and especially the top decks. Now, I'd like the options for food up on the top deck.
I would agree with the poolside options are better at the Wish.
It was better than just the hot dog hamburger.
But they're adjusting that on the fantasy. They added a Mexican place
and they should, because it's really good. But, and they have the little barbecue thing, which is your favorite too. So, I mean, like, that's amazing. That
if you're barbecuing
I hear
Stitch.
wet spaghetti. I hear Stitch is going to be working there.
I heard we're barbecuing him.
It's Hawaiian style. Sorry, Stitch. Anyway, but the top deck feels a lot more open, because when you go to sit down with your food, like around like the outside eateries and cabanas and Marceline Market are completely two different things. When you go into cabanas on the Disney Fantasy, it's what they call their main buffet area up on the top decks. For those who don't know, and Marceline Market, Marceline was where Walt kind of grew up and everything else. So they say like Marceline was in Missouri. Remember, I'm like,
Sure.
yeah. So they have like different feels to them. And I feel like it's real tight in the market area too. And I'm like, but you go in cabanas and it's got like more, it feels like more
I
width.
never set foot in Marceline Market when we were on the cruise.
No, we never went into it.
You went in once, I think, with Caitlin. I never went in
It's
because I
not
just
where-
ate the poolside options when we went
I'll
to
be
the buffet.
honest with you, it doesn't feel like you're walking. It's those tight hallways and all, and it's not
Yeah.
like open up
It
to a big
is
area.
tighter.
It feels like it has no space in there, and the top deck around where the tables are outside feels like it has no space.
Yeah.
It's weird to me how it's that. I like the adult section of that. I also like the adult section, like the Wish.
I feel like
the
they
fantasy.
tried to add too many pools, and they're just lots of little pools. So it's like
Everybody
sometimes,
bring their inflatable pool. Okay,
yeah,
fill
that
this
is
up
one
for
thing
me.
I would say that probably Royal Caribbean does have a little better is
Yeah.
the pool situation, because
Yeah,
I
they
do
don't
feel
have-
like the pools can be kind
Now
of
that you
tighter.
get into the mega ships, like the Icon class,
Yeah.
they say,
Yeah.
they have large ships, and they
because
actually
they're
have
like
adult
two
areas.
across. Like it's like two.
Yeah,
like
because
walk-
they have a middle section where like the boardwalk stuff is in these bigger like Oasis class ships, or on the Icon one. Now Icon, they're like having 4 ships soon. I mean, Star's releasing, Legend comes out right after it.
crazy.
And there's another one already being built
That's
as well
crazy.
that hasn't even been named. So they have all these big ships, but yeah, those pools are bigger. And I'll be honest with you, I never get in the pool most of the time. I just go and get in the hot tub.
Yeah.
But I do like the adult areas.
But if you have kids, it does matter, because it's like for Massimo, when I took him on with you, we went on the fantasy.
They'll have like the Mickey pool.
Right.
And all.
I am a big fan of not getting off the ship for anything other than Castaway Cay, which may sound crazy to people. I know, but this is going to sound like privileged, I guess. But a lot of these islands I've been to so many times on cruises in the past that for me, the appeal is not getting off the ship other than Castaway Cay. It's staying on the ship when nobody else is on it, because when you have a small child, especially these little spots, like it's Nemo's Reef or whatever, like they have it to themselves and maybe 1 or 2 other kids. There's not the lines, because it is hard. And in our family, there's teenage kids. When you're in these little small pools and you've got a little, like let's say under 5, and then you've got
Like,
teenage kids
"This is
and they're
great."
trying to do handstands and stuff. And I'm like, I get these kids are here on their vacation too. They want to have a good time. But teach your kids to be a little mindful of smallers around. I'm not saying don't have fun, but handstands in a tight pool is not the way to go. I got kicked. That was hard. So when we found on the fantasy, Josh actually found, I may have mentioned this on a previous podcast,
It was up on the
it
top
was called the
decks.
funnel puddle. And it's kind of like, I almost want to gatekeep it, but it was over by like the adult bar
It was
section.
towards the forward
A
stacks. It
foot
was
or
like right
two
behind
deep
it.
with
Yeah.
a fountain in the middle, and the kids could play in it.
It was
and Mozzie made
directly
friends there.
above the adults area.
Yeah.
In there, and it was nice.
It was perfect. It
It's
was not
funny you were
crowded. They had
talking
music
about-
over there, live music.
You were talking about the poop cruise stuff, because again, we could say that in there. Ding, 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 ding. Another one. I feel like it's like Pee Wee Herman's word of the day. But it's funny. That's all I think about when I have the kids' pools or any pool in any cruise ship, because inevitably every cruise you go on, that pool will be shut down at some point because the one person that says no swim diapers, no this or whatever, like, oh, sorry, my kid added
But
to
see,
the
that's
pool.
kind of the worst part. They say no swim diapers. So what do parents do that want to put their kids in the pool? They put their not potty trained kids in without
Let's
a
just
swim
be honest. Every
diaper.
kid in there is peeing in it, but the ones that like, you keep
Adults.
your solid. I mean, I don't even get in. I just stand next to it. Oh.
Like a fountain.
No, that sounds horrible.
No,
on a Disney
we don't
cruise.
do that.
I do that in the adults area. Come on now. I'm just like, hey, it's the fountain.
Yeah.
It's me. Like,
No, but I do.
It's just. I will be honest with you. Those things, they actually happen on the Icon. They said there's an Icon, like in their cruise ship. There's an adults area. It's like a hideaway kind of like place. But there is a swim up bar in one of the places. And they have it in there, which is pretty cool for having that, which is different. But people bring their kids there too. And they said they kept having to shut down that pool because some kid would go,
Yeah.
and then you're like,
it's
oh,
always
great.
a risk, guys. In
You're
any
really
public
crapping
pool.
on everybody else's good time because
Yeah.
you're like,
poop
oh,
cruise.
yeah,
Cruise.
yeah.
Secret word. Poop cruise. Ah!
Yeah. There it is again.
Today's secret word is poop cruise.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So getting back in line here. Okay. So we talked about, obviously we noted that our favorite ship is the Fantasy of the ones that we've been on. The Dream is beautiful. I mean, the Wish is beautiful, but for me, I'm always going to enjoy the Fantasy. Also, it looked like looking at the 1-bedroom suite on the Fantasy versus the 1-bedroom on the Wish, the Fantasy's a bit bigger and laid out smarter, because if you see on a POV or a tour, let's say on YouTube, when you walk into, they're beautiful. They're beautiful on the Wish. The theming is gorgeous. It's very light colors and pastels. It's like tangled theme and stuff. It's very, very pretty. But when you walk in, you're going to have your eating area, right? And your little kind of like kitchenette. Mm-hmm. And then you have like a little side piece of furniture that's a drop down single Murphy bed, basically, right?
Okay.
Like you have in a lot of the Disney hotels. Then on the other side of that is the couch and TV and all. And then you go into the room and then there's the bed.
Yeah.
So whoever's sleeping on that little drop down is basically sleeping in the kitchen eating area, because it drops down in that direction. Whereas when you're in the Fantasy 1-bedroom, the bedroom is off, couch, and then it's in like more the family room area that Murphy bed comes down, and it's a vertical pull down instead of the horizontal. And I think that just seems a little nicer. Also, Fantasy's going into dry dock for some updates. I heard that they are updating the concierge lounge there, which people have said that it's too small, and they're adding more concierge rooms. So they have to be expanding that lounge.
Here's
they have
another
to be.
thing I will say, and this is 100% true. As ships get older, I feel like Disney does the best with keeping up with the maintenance.
100%.
I feel like they are, because I'll give you an example. Again, we're pointing back to Royal Caribbean. I like the Oasis of the Seas. I love it partly because, well, for your thing, they have a thing called Portside Barbecue, and it's one of the top decks. By all accounts, this thing should be trash. It should be trash barbecue at sea, and it's not. I went up, I got my plate, I come back, and go, why is this good? And they're like, I know, right? And I go, everybody says
It's a
the same thing.
Landry's restaurant. Just
It
kidding.
is. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a member. But no,
Who was it who said we should be sponsored by Landry's at this point?
Yeah,
Somebody
sorry, I didn't say
said-
that. But
We're
no,
available.
yeah, I can be bought. No, maybe I've got credit card debt. But anyway, it's, what was I even saying?
You're talking about the
so
barbecue.
Like the
Upkeep.
upkeep.
Up Greek.
Yeah, well, that's where my money went. So the upkeep on the ships, I was on Oasis season. I'm on my balcony because that's how I roll. I'm just kidding. That's why I'm in debt. So I go on balcony and it's like chipping and stuff flying off and it just looks run down. It's like not, but you go on Disney. When I went by the Magic's an old ship. This is old. I forget like the year I can find it, but like the year it came out, it's like 1998. Okay, the year that's when the Magic was built in 1998. Okay, could have had that information. But this thing looks brand new. Like when I was there, I was like, the colors on it, everything's, they repaint it and port everything else. It just looked really, really nice. I mean, that's the way I took it. I'm like, this looks like a newer ship, but it's an old ship. You know, like that's an old wooden ship. Diversity, an old wooden ship.
We've been there watching them like installing new carpets and things like that. Like they keep up with it. It is.
But it looks
beautiful.
nice. And like I said, I want to, Oasis is not as old as that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, this thing needs some repair. And they do what they call amplification on there. They'll go through, they'll put in new stuff and everything else. But I feel like that's the Disney experience. We were saying why Disney kind of stuff. What you're paying for. Let's just roll into it here. We haven't gone into this subject yet. And like I said, this podcast can probably be about 1.5 or more hours like in this, which we're okay.
Sorry. I mean, that's a beauty. You can stop it. We're not on live radio
You can fast
here.
forward us.
Still pause,
listen
come
to
back
us later.
We're fine with that.
But it's going to be a longer episode.
It is. It's too much to unpack.
But here's what I'll say. Let's go into the meals and beverage category. I have not really had bad meals on Disney. I've had some people that aren't foodies complain about certain things, Caitlin. And with like,
I would say anywhere where that many people are being cooked for at once, I'm not expecting to have in the main dining the same quality of food that I'm going to get in Paolo or Remy or Enchanté. I'm not expecting that. Also, you got to remember, it is way easier to add seasoning to food than to take it away. Yeah. And if you want to keep your costs down, Disney has to keep waste down. So if someone's like, oh, this is too spicy, this is too this, they're always going to lean on the less flavory side, and then you can kick it up a notch.
I never had a problem with like, me and you were like salt and pepper kind of people. Like when something comes,
I've always been fine.
You're the kind of person that salts their food before they even taste it.
It's for good luck.
You're like,
it's glitter.
No, it's okay. What is in this? In the kitchen, did you put salt in it?
And yet, which one of us seems saltier?
This is a salt-crusted steak. Now, your salt-crusted steak, here you go. But no, I think the food's good, especially when you go back, and the entertainment factor on Disney, because with your meals, the one thing about the meals on Disney, it's rotational dining.
Yes.
Okay, so you have about 3 restaurants usually on each ship.
Yep.
And if you're on a
Always
7-day,
3.
you're going to do all of them twice and one
of them
an
3
extra
times.
an extra time. So when you go around to these, your wait staff goes with you. So they know and they're on it. You always, and that's the one thing, it's like the guest experience on there, they're so nice. But if you tell them something, I'll give you an example. My daughter at the time like wasn't eating like this one type of butter. She would get Earth Balance butter. She'd use that and they had it on the ship. So she's like, okay, I want this. And so like when we came to the table, they'd have a special bowl that just had that butter in it for her. The girls, all of them love cherries with their drinks and all that. We come back, there's a full-blown bowl of like maraschino cherries sitting in the
They
middle
called
of the table.
beverage steward's name was Jerry, so they called him Cherry Jerry for the rest of the Cherry Jerry for the rest of the trip.
God.
But on that note, what Josh is saying, I don't think people really understand the value of that. You might think, oh, it's nice to have the same waiter. Yeah, that sounds nice. No, first of all, what we love is when we've traveled in a very large group of us on a Disney cruise before. And what I love about a Disney cruise with a large group as compared to Disney World are the following things. One, everybody can do whatever they want to do every day. There is no need to try and schedule, like when you're in a Disney park, especially if you've got things like lightning lanes and meal reservations and stuff, it's very hard to coordinate a large group. You all know it. Mealtime, if you're with a large group. One, chances are you're not going to be sat together.
Jerry.
You're not going to be sat together.
That's good stuff.
But 2, you have to wait till everyone arrives before you're seated at any restaurant in a Disney park, right? If you're a group of 11, they're not going to seat you if only 6 of you are there. But on a Disney cruise... On a Disney cruise,
I'm a Gina
you
moment.
have your table, you are assigned. So if it's your family of 11, whoever gets there gets to sit right away. So you all know in our family, do whatever you want to do all day. And then you come back to know dinner is at 5:30 every night. We all know where our table is. And then you sit down, you know your way. And they do really take pride in knowing those extra things. To them, it's the greatest thing. If you have something specific, they're like, good, we want to know because that's going to enhance your experience. If it is Cherry Jerry or
Cherry
Butter
Jerry.
Peyton, it is. It's great.
Cherry Jerry or Butterberry?
I just spit on myself.
I think I did that too. Great minds. One of the things
For those on
it's like
Spotify, you missed it.
It's the experiment. It's probably still on the mic. Stop touching the mic. It's gonna be all distorted. Gina, like I am.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the guest experience on this, I'll give you an example. We were on the one, and Tiffany was at dinner, and I had bought some. They actually had a Tiffany's jewelry store on the one ship we were on. I want to say that was on the Fantasy. So it was like a thing. You have like some Tiffany's jewelry, and I'm like, I got it. What did I end up getting her? I think it was. I don't know. It was a bracelet, a necklace, something like that. That I worked it out with the store. They said, "Oh, you want it delivered to dinner?" And I'm like, I try. There's a lot of try in me, not a lot of execution on some things. But I'm like, that's a wonderful idea. I was like, because go to dinner and they're like, oh, we can deliver with dessert. We can bring this out. And I told them about the thing. So they bring out like her thing, but it has like the jewelry box thing or whatever in there from it. So it was a nice little experience. But I told the wait staff and the people, I guess, at the shop came and did everything. But I'm like, that's a really cool thing. I'm like, I'm not as thoughtful sometimes. I try to be. But I'm like, that was kind of one of those moments. I'm like, yeah, got it.
Yeah.
But it was a nice little thing to do for her. It's not like something that like I'll do all the time. but I love to see her like reaction to that. And it was
Yeah.
cool to have all these people playing into it. But like when you get food and other things, people that don't do cruises, let's go over another thing real quick.
Real quick. Good one.
It's not going to happen. I said that. So
don't
cruises
know
are
the
the ultimate indulgence. Okay. Hence the earlier part of this conversation when I mentioned my weight. I think I left 10 pounds lighter, if not more. And now I'm heavier. But your dinners, it's not a pick one. You could have everything on that menu if you wanted to at dinner.
Yeah.
You can just say, can I try one of these? Can I have another one of these? Don't bring them out. I've had times where I've just gotten a million soups because I was like, this soup's really good.
I would also say on that note, Josh, a tip is tell them you want both up front. Because if you're weighing between them two, timing wise, because remember, especially if you're the early seating, they're trying to keep
get
everything
stuff in.
timed. So be kind to your server
Good
and
point.
say, I want both of those, both entrees. They do not care. They are not judging you. They're not weighing it. They do not care. Again, I firmly believe, and if you work on a Disney cruise, please feel free to comment below if I am wrong, but most likely I'm not. From what we've heard, they want to be able to enhance your experience. I was like that as a bartender. I loved being able to do something extra for someone.
Of course, they walk around, they're like, 3 steaks for fatty. like, salamat.
But yeah, so you say, I frequently say, because they're not like giant portions on appetizer stuff. So I'll say, and I will take all the appetizers, and then I will take no salad though. I don't want to be crazy. And then I'll have 2 entrees.
Some ice cream on
Yeah,
the side.
but they would rather know up front so they can time everything.
It is because when they're
correctly.
firing certain things in the beginning and they're going through the chain there, they're like, here, just go. That's what I said. You're going to be rotating around these things, and the menus do change, on certain things. So you're like, okay, bring me this one. And then different nights, there's like a Caribbean theme.
I was gonna say that's a good point. If you eat,
night.
you're on a 7-day cruise. You're gonna eat in Royal Court twice. It's not the same menu.
Yeah,
both
it's not. Yeah,
times.
so
It's
you're going to go through and
menus
say,
every night.
get what you want. Like, say, don't be wasteful. If you know you're not going to eat it, don't just be thoughtful about that. Nobody needs to waste food. But if you think you're going to try something, try it. Or if you 2 people at the table, they both want to try, get another one and you guys split it. Do that stuff. But don't be afraid to ask for more things. But if you know
Like
you're
cherries.
if they have on these cruise ships, that's where I learned my love of like escargot.
Yeah,
I'll be like,
same.
can you bring me 2 of those? Because I'm
Yeah.
gonna nail through these things.
Yeah,
and it's not everybody's thing, texture issue for a lot of people, but it's just
Yeah.
basically eating a ball of garlic.
And then they do wine packages that you can
Yes,
buy
that's what
and
I was
say, hey, we're going to do a wine package, which means you'll
And you
look
can
and you say
cork them
how
too.
many bottles you
Yeah.
want. And then they will keep them there for the duration. So if you say, let's open another bottle, and they say, okay, do you want to keep this till the next night? I do think I don't know if they give you the option of taking it back to your room with you if you wanted to take that bottle, but I
think they
know
do
that
something.
I will say to them, just fill this
And
up.
they also
Like
have,
fill
other
this glass up and
cruises-
I'll walk around the cruise.
Other
with it.
cruises, they have like this one will have the corkage fee or whatever it is too. So you can bring, I think, certain bottles onto the ship with you. So if you say, I think it's like 1 or 2 bottles.
I've never brought
I
any
think-
alcohol on
yeah,
a
it's
ship.
just-
It
to
just
me,
seems
it's-
like a lot.
Yeah,
It
it's
seems
a
like
hassle.
traveling
but-
with all that seems
and
like
people
a
try to be
lot.
shifty. They're like, here's my wine bottle. It's filled with like bourbon.
Right, yeah. But
Suckers.
But so on that note, the rotational dining, you're getting different dining experiences. You're getting the same servers, so they're going to know your tastes every single time. It's not explaining something new every single time. Make them very aware of any allergies. I think with Disney cruises too, you can let them know that up front.
No,
as well.
they take good attention to detail when it comes to
Yeah.
those things. And the guest, like I said, it's a guest experience. And
Yeah.
but I feel like the dining stuff, the options are good. They've got like the normal menu, and then they also have what's on there is like the staples there, and they're like,
Yeah,
you can
basics,
always
like
get like a
chicken,
chicken breast. You can always get
fish.
the steak, like a strip steak, stuff like this.
salmon or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have
always
those options in
those.
there, and the kids always have the ability to get like chicken.
And your
tenders,
kids can order
fries.
off the adult menu. Like
Yeah.
if there's something your kid wanted, it's not like they can't
Yeah,
have
they're not
something.
limited. They're not
going to
limited.
be like, oh no,
That's
they
like
can't have that.
Mozzie eats really well and all that
Yeah,
stuff. so he
Mozzie
could-
loves
yeah.
steak. He loves salmon. So Danny's kids same way.
Yeah, it's and that's nice because you have the ability to say, okay, I want the whatever the food is of the night, whether it's you might not like Caribbean fare, like you don't want like
Right.
jerk chicken or something like that, or whatever they might be offering, or some kind of other thing might be an off thing, but you still have those staple things available anytime. The other thing is room service. You can always get room service.
Disney
on it.
has 24-hour
lot of-
room service on the ship, and it's complimentary. Obviously, not in complimentary, it's included. Let's say. So they say this is a great tip, and your travel agent should remind you of things like this. And if you are a travel agent listening, we are pressing you to remind guests of things like this. Bring a little cash for room service. And I've heard people do, which I think is a great idea. They're like, maybe bring a couple other like little treats, like maybe bring a couple, like I could get a Snickers bar or something and give them that because
I was the one that said that to you.
for
'cause that's what
cast members
they
not to
go
have to
buy
spend
stuff,
their
yeah.
money on extra treats like that. So if you give them $2 for bringing the food to your room, and some people load up their freezers with Mickey bars or things like that because it's unlimited. And this is what's wild to me though. Mickey bars are included in your price. But nothing at the gelato places is. And I always think it's so funny because it's, it's one of Disney's versions of Upcharge. I always think it's so funny. I could have 7 filet mignons at dinner tonight, but I can't have that gelato. It's not included. I can't have that little macaron.
It's
it's
a
just
rare
kind of
gelato.
funny. Right. That's a very funny too. So that's something else to know.
Well,
The gelato places
as long as
are
you're
not
talking
included.
about
They are
prepping
extra.
for cruises and things like this, and this is what I said, if you're realize that people work hard, they don't get much time off. The crew on Disney cruises, the crews on Royal Caribbean, it doesn't matter what it is. These guys, they say, what do you do on your time off? And very rarely they get to go off the ship and go into islands and stuff, and it's like a perk when they do. These guys get almost zero time to even sleep. So they said, what do you do on your time off? They go sleep.
Yeah.
But
because you'll see our
you said
dinner
bring
servers
cash.
goes, I'll be on the
I will
island
tell you
tomorrow
this
working
now,
here.
always bring cash with you, small bills, whether it's 1s, 5s, 10s, stuff like that, depending on things like that. Tip your bar servers or your bartenders and all that stuff. Give them a couple bucks in this. Don't worry about your C-Pass cards they give you. Okay? I do not tip on those things because it's a collective. Not always does it go to them. The stuff they do in cash, more of that stuff as the bartenders in there, it goes to them and in their pocket. So I prefer to tip in cash. Plus, if you do that first day of a cruise, they take care of you on pours, specialty drinks and stuff like that. They might be like, oops, there's more in it. So,
Josh trying to get everybody fired.
So I usually, I find the bar I really like going to the first day. I usually put a 20 in the thing or whatever it is. I'm like, hey, thank you so much. We'll be back. And each day I'll give a couple bucks, like the drinks that come in there. Yeah. And it's not cheap to drink on cruises. I don't get loaded on that. It's a Disney cruise. I like to remember it. So it's nice to be able to do that stuff for them, but show the appreciation. The other thing is the tipping on Disney in general. At the end of the cruise, you're going to get like a perforated little sheet thing that gives you...
I believe in doing the pre-tip and then adding to it.
Yes.
I like to do that.
So that's what I'm saying. When you do and you pay for your tips already, so they're not charging. And anyway, it's going to be the same way at the end because they'll be charge you per day. But at the end of the cruise, you're going to get a perforated thing. They'll get envelopes. You take that perforation thing. It says who it is, like whether you're head server, your assistant server, the maitre d' at the restaurant, whatever else is. And then you have like your stateroom attendant. So they'll say in there, and they'll give you something you want to give a tip to somebody else, you can. You put those little things in there so they know they trade them in, blah, blah, blah. They get their money from you. And it's nothing like in there. It's like, here's $10 for this guy, $15 for this. At collective, it adds up. But you could put more money in that envelope if you want. You slide another 20 in there. If they're really good, you slide 100 into there. But again, like the guys that really do it, like the guy that goes around, like the maitre d' guy or the head guy in the dining hall, usually pretty nice. But this guy really didn't do much for you.
But they're getting a salary. They're getting a much bigger amount of money.
So unless he really did something special for your family,
comes around.
You don't have to go overboard.
Yeah, a lot of them will come over and take your lobster off the shell or like do something like.
He's like getting that money. So how about an extra?
I just appreciate if they just come and like don't just say hi, but like make a little personal connection. Then to me, that's always something.
Well, the other thing is the entertainment factor, even in the dining room, because a lot of them will be like, "Oh, I know a little magic trick. Here's how you do this stuff."
Yeah.
Like they would show you some things like, "Oh, can you do this and this?" He's like, "Here, try this," or whatever else. They like to be interactive with you, not like, "Oh, here's your New York strip. Here's this. Get out of the thing. We got to clean up." One of our
servers from the Wish, I think it was our beverage server. She was so sweet. I still have a little keychain she made me. She would like bead little bracelets and stuff, and she like did little tricks, remember? And then she'd be like, "Okay," and then she had a little keychain she gave me.
Oh,
and
and keep in mind this: to a certain extent, maybe not 1923 so much, but each of these specialty restaurants usually have some kind of show that goes along with it. Whether the cast members that work in there are in it or not. Like Arendelle has a full-on show in the middle of Arendelle on the Wish. The Animator's Palette is a whole interactive thing where you get to draw. Like,
if you're on it for 2 times, you get 2 different shows. One is Crush and one is the drawing.
Yeah, one's like the interactive stuff with Crush on the wall, and then the other one's like you animate something. So they give you a thing, you do it at the beginning, you draw on it, and they animate this whole thing in there. I've gotten some choice parts of that too, like where my guy was like
Iron
dancing
Man.
with it. Oh yeah, because I drew Iron Man. I'm like, again, I was in comics, so I actually do somewhat passable Iron Man in this little thing they gave you. So he's dancing with like Mickey or whatever else it is. And everybody's like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm like, "That's mine. That's mine." So
that's a fun effect.
But they have that kind of stuff. Like each of them has their own flair. Like the Marvel restaurant come in, like I won't spoil it for like the kids and everything, but they're not watching this anyway. So Spider-Man comes out. So it's like you have this thing where they're running through like thing. It's really neat kind of experience.
Yeah.
And everything is like, that's the thing I wish Disney did even more at the parks. Like you're more immersed in that than even some of the stuff they do at the parks. Like
I agree.
The restaurants, they have so much more things going on for them. It's probably like, I think they started getting into that maybe like Woody's Roundup, kind of like barbecue, and like it's just more theming and stuff. But it's a great time. When you talk about entertainment, Disney has like Broadway quality shows on there. And I know other people do it. Like there's like Back to the Future the musical or something like that on Royal, and some other things like Wizard of Oz kind of stuff. But I will tell you, you go through like Aladdin, this Little Mermaid, it's this, whatever. These shows are like incredible. And you imagine what it takes to put these on, not only on a moving vessel. That's why when you see the entertainers who are like a juggler, you're like, does this guy have he done this on a cruise ship? Because that thing ain't stable anyway. Can you imagine? It's like you're on that little.
And the theater's
rolly
beautiful, and there's little concessions outside that you can get, your popcorn and snacks. And we do recommend, that's another pro tip, if you do want a soda with a show, go up to the top deck, get a cup of soda there. It's going to be included.
Well, the other thing is, if you want to go watch the first run movies, what we would do is we go to Cabanas, we get like a plate of food or whatever, we come down to the thing, we'd sit. As long as you didn't have like pain in the butt kids we did the one time behind us, I was like, finally I had to throw them out of the theater. Yeah, that's what happened. Because they were teenagers and they were being ignorant. So I was like, I don't know where your parents are, but you need to leave. And they're like, what? Like kicking chairs and doing stuff and they're cursing in the back.
Yeah, they were
said,
just being.
I don't have time for that.
And we had Mozzie with us and we're like, girls, be mindful. Teach your children to be mindful.
I don't look
guys.
as big when I'm
fun,
sitting down. When I
mindful.
stand up and talk to you and kind of go like this, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know who's that. I'm like, guys, go out of here. We're trying to watch a movie, whatever. But I'm always kind about it.
Oh, of course, because you don't treat other people's kids anyway. You don't want someone treating your kids if they were doing something. But
yeah,
it's like, just teach your kids to be mindful that, yes, they're on a cruise. We want them to have fun. We know they're looking for a good time when they're teenagers.
Yeah.
But just teach
they're
them
gonna
to
get,
be
but they have
mindful.
tons of stuff for kids, and they've got clubs. for them,
Cussing
they
in
got
front of
everything.
like a little 5-year-old that's
Yeah, I
sitting
was
there
like,
trying to
dude,
watch
I'm
a
like,
movie in the
yeah, you
movie
can't-
theater. Like, it just doesn't
You
make
can't do
any
that kind of
sense.
stuff. It's not cool. It's not fun. So, but you have that ability to go and sit in like the
First
the
run
movie
movies,
theater.
like Josh said. If a movie comes out from Marvel or Disney or Pixar or anything,
It's playing
while
in
you're on the
there.
ship, it's playing
It's
on the
playing
ship.
in that theater, and it's great because
We
it's
need to do midnight showings, like the midnight
yeah, and that's the
when
thing.
they
Some
come
people
out.
come down will be like basically in our jammies. I'm not because
Yeah.
I'm like I sleep in short. Nobody wants to see this in a pair of shorts and sitting there. All right, let's watch the movie.
You and me
Like,
crying and they're
everybody's
watching
like, I'm glad I
Coco.
got this food from Cabanas. I'm about to vomit. If I look at the fat boy in the
Remember
back.
we were watching Coco and you be sitting there crying at Coco.
We were doing a game last night, my wife and I, and my daughter Peyton, and we were sitting there, and her name's Tiffany, because I don't know why I just said my wife and I, and then Peyton. But we're doing this thing. It was like this or that, or who's most likely to do this? Like, who's most likely to cry at a movie? And they both pointed at me, and I go,
Yeah.
well, "That's accurate." So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a feelings kind of person.
I
Don't
like
hurt my
that.
last one.
You and I, man, we were watching. I can't tell you and I would have been in a movie and we're like, "Don't look at me," because you and I are both crying.
I'm
the
like,
same thing.
what is that? This could be an AT&T
Yeah,
commercial. I'm
I
like, this
know.
Lord, here comes the vapors.
Yeah, and it's usually like
So.
Disney cartoons and stuff.
I told you when I was hearing the story about Angelo and Alyssa, and I go like this, and just showed me the video. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just met you people. I don't need to cry in front of you. But
Well-
again, I'm like, you're crying in the video.
to target back a little bit when talking about
Okay, I'll
we're trying
shut
to break no I'm just saying, like, because you and I could talk about this for 5 hours and maybe we will, I don't know. Welcome to this series.
I'll just forget about this. There we
But
go.
but I hope this doesn't break anything. Anyway, but we talked about rooms, okay? Disney's got it on the rooms. Activities. Disney's got it on the activities. And what's great about Disney is they have a great onboard app that you have free texting. It's not always going to be great on alerting
You need to reset it about 700 times,
Sometimes
just like you would.
Also,
my
what Disney
app.
added, this is a fun fact about our family. What Disney added several years ago that
emojis?
saved our family, was the fact that they added packages for internet. Because previously, when we've been on a cruise pre-2020,
goodness.
it was pay as you go. And our father spent more on internet than I think he had on the cruise itself because he
You
needed
could
to
have
be.
bought a concierge room. I think he spent.
Daddy spent so.
The
we
man
won't tell.
spent, I think, between $5,000 and $8,000
On internet.
on
I mean, to be
internet.
fair, it was a lot of work-related stuff, but our dad also
No,
does like social
no.
media.
Let's be fair about this. It was Facebook. It was
Stop.
TikTok. Whatever it was. Whatever
But
kind of things.
Disney now has
But he gets-
internet packages that make that
But
much
he gets
more
every
convenient.
notification known to man. Every time something came through, it would just
Yeah.
pull in. But it was how bad was like it was in kilobytes. You bought this stuff. It was like here. If you checked your email for 5 seconds, it was like it's gone.
Yeah.
It made no sense. So now it's unlimited.
Yeah.
And like everybody else
It's
does.
totally worth it, guys. It's totally worth it. But the app, you don't need to have
It's
an internet
actually
package
more.
for.
It's more advantageous on Disney now with their unlimited than other cruise ships
Yeah.
because the pricing. It's actually a little bit better.
You
than some
do
of the
not
other
need
ones.
to have the internet package to use the app, though. The app is accessible to everybody.
And it's still just as bad as the My Disney Experience one. It's gonna,
but
like, if you're
it's gonna
messaging,
have
it's
all
gonna be
your
bad.
activities in there. And what's nice about it is you can favorite any activities, and then it will give you push notifications to remind you. So at the beginning of the cruise, go and look. You can look forward and say, oh, I want to go to bingo. I want to go to this. I want to see. And it'll remind you, which I think is very, very, very nice that it does
and
that.
Keep in mind,
you can text other people on the ship within the app, which
you're
is
going
nice.
to be putting your phone into airplane mode as soon as you pull out of port, because you don't want to get some kind of weird international kind of thing or whatever else. Most people do that.
Yeah.
There are things, like I say, little cruise tips and all. If you have, like, I have AT&T. They have, like, international day pass and all. So I think it's like $10 a day or something like that. When you get into port, if you know you're going to use it, if you have that activated on your service, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to text, call, whatever else. If you have AT&T, I don't know how it works on Verizon, T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, whatever else it might be. But if you have something like that, keep that in mind before you leave. Know what your international packages would cost, because me, it's fine. I'm like, if I know I'm only going to be in 3 ports, I'm like, it's going to be $30 or something like that. And I'm like, when I take my phone out of airplane mode, each one of these I'm going to pay like $10 or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But I have the full ability to use the internet. I have the full ability to text people. I have the full ability to call people. And it's weird because there's places that you might visit, and it's for the day. So no matter, like, certain covered countries, like when you go into St. Martin, there's two different sides of the island, and they're owned by different. There's the Dutch side and the French side. So you got Philipsburg, and then you got Marigold that's on the other side. So when you drive, it's funny. Like, my phone goes against, and it's like, welcome to this, and like AT&T sends you a message just over the border of this driving, and it switched cell towers, and it was like a completely different thing on the French side. And I was like, oh wow, that's kind of neat. But it's things you need to know as you go, because most people. And we're not just talking, like, most people are on here because they've been on a Disney cruise. They want to hear something, or most people just want to poke fun at Gina and I. But who wouldn't, right?
Isn't that why you and I are here?
Yeah. This is what we're going to do anyway. We just put it on video. So the little tips we can give you about that stuff is, like I said, the simple things about tipping. Stuff about also, if you're somebody who hasn't experienced the sea yet, if you're motion sickness, I will tell you this. If you tend to get queasy on Soarin', if you get queasy on Guardians, or Flight of Passage, if you have something with motion sickness, you can get motion sickness patches. They come in
I
little
get
box.
those
You can
C
get them.
bands that are adjustable, not the ones that just sit on your wrist.
You can
but
get C bands on your wrist. It'll push on your pressure point. Those are good, kind of almost placebo effect too. But you have that. It'll push down on there. Wear those. Get the little patch. Dramamine, whatever you need to do. Like I said, or choose for your first cruise, choose sometime when the water might be a little more calm. When you're in the Caribbean, it doesn't tend to be really, really bad, but you're going to get stuff from maybe the Northeast or something if you're trying to travel from like a port up north, and especially if it's colder, you're going to get a little more rough seas, or towards like hurricane season. So keep those things in mind, but make sure, first of all, it's always a great idea to have your passport. You know, there's certain cruises now, it's, again, they're like, they always said you had to have a passport. You really don't, if it's coming back to a U.S. port. Okay, so if you're porting out to somewhere else, it's your passport's mandatory. If you said you're taking a transatlantic and you're getting off in that port and staying there and taking a flight home, you need a passport. But as long as you're coming back and you have like government photo ID and all, you don't need your passport in those ports.
It's always good to have it in case you got stranded on an island.
Take a picture. Take a picture of your passport too in your phone. So God forbid something happens or whatever, and you have at least a picture of it. Not that it's going to work the same way. They always tell you to do that. But most of the ports you get off, they'll be like, have your CPass card, and someone will say have a photo, like government photo ID to get back on the ship. I think it's like that in Nassau. A lot of times they'll say have certain
I will
things.
say I think the customs like whole process and like immigration is easier on Royal Caribbean. It's not bad on Disney, but I do think it's a lot quicker and more streamlined in Royal Caribbean.
Well,
I will say that.
Yeah, in the app, and like what Gina just said, I know I'm long-winded on these things, but what Gina just said, Royal on the app, you go through, you watch a couple things. When they do what's called a muster drill.
Yeah, all ships have to do muster.
Is for an event of emergency where you need to go when something's happening. God forbid something happens to the ship, it's under siege, whatever else it is. They're like, here's your muster station. Grab your medicines, grab this, life vest. We'll have them provide them there. You'll go to where the lifeboats are in a certain section. This is where you meet to be done. So Royal has a thing where you just watch the stuff in the app. They tell you what the long blast is like, like 7 or 8 short blasts with a long blast or whatever else it is. And they're like, this is the distress horn. You know what it is. Go to this location. I'm waiting for Disney to change it.
Then you go check in at your muster station.
You just check in there
go
and you leave.
up there
They
and
tell you,
say,
this is where you come.
I acknowledge I know where to go.
The ship never shuts down. Now, Disney, you actually physically go to the muster station. They make everything shuts down on the ship. You go there. Everybody's lined up. They check to make sure everybody's there and say, this is where you'll come. They do announcements, and that's how they do it. I'm waiting for them to change that because it is it's
gotta say though,
hard
I kind of have a different opinion on that
I don't
because
care.
from a
This is the right
personal
way.
perspective, I do understand it's annoying when you're standing there and they're like stand tall
If
as the
there's a-
shortest. But
it's going to be a melee anyway, Gina.
but when it comes to safety, I fully believe it's because Disney doesn't trust people, and they shouldn't. Oh, sure, you watched it. Everyone would go, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I think the way they can feel like they are making it a little bit easier, that God forbid something happen, that they have seen people physically be in the right spot and physically watch the directions. I can understand that would save them a lot of time in the event of an emergency, that they didn't have to chase people down and people not knowing, because a lot of people aren't actually watching
I'll
the
be
video. They're
honest with
playing
you,
it, but they're
because
not
where they're
watching
sitting
it.
you, it's like, you know, and it's where these things that converge on the outside decks. It's like on this one, like you might meet in what they call the like the Aqua Theater area or whatever for one of them, and they're like, you come here, we'll hand you your life jackets. They already have them ready to go at that point.
They used to
And
make
then
you bring your
march
life jacket down.
Yeah, you used to have to wear them.
Yeah,
So it's
that was
like you're like,
annoying.
oh, this was horrible. But you go through and they'll lead you out to where your lifeboats are. I feel like that's like once people are in there, that everybody
Right.
checks in. They're like, it's kind of
Right.
an efficient system.
Right.
But I like it because nothing shuts down. But also, it's inevitable on that. The only flaw is like somebody's like, oh, we're looking for this person. They have to check in. They have to do this. They have to find all the people and make sure they get it done.
I guarantee you it's very hard to find the right system because they don't want anything to happen. But if it did, they need to make sure people have actually paid attention to
Well,
what to do,
Disney-
because most people just don't.
So Disney, when they did their, because it's all theming with Disney. So when they made their cruise ships, because it was the red, black, white, gold kind of stuff like that for
Mm-hmm.
Mickey, they actually went and petitioned like the maritime people or whatever it is and got like Coast Guard and everything to let them have their lifeboats be that goldish color.
Instead of the
It
bright
used
orange.
to be orange. So it used to be orange on all the different ships. Now Royal Caribbean switched to that same kind of yellow
Yeah.
because it was okay and it matches their colors better. Because Disney was like, no, we'll go and do this. And if it's okay for them, it's got to be okay for everybody else.
Of course.
So it's neat that they have that.
Yeah.
But again, those are things in emergency. God forbid you ever need them.
Right. You
But
don't ever wanna go
ships
in
are very
assuming that.
safe. Okay, we'll put it this way: you're safe on a ship. They go around weather. They do a lot of things great on there.
Yeah.
But like we were saying about certain aspects of it, if you're gonna go and book with your family, ask the proper questions to them. Say, okay, are you motion sickness? Are you good with being out at sea? Is there any phobias you have? Is there this kind of stuff or any like things you can know going into it? Because again, my daughter's been on cruises. She's kind of like, she's still trying to get over like her fear of open water too, but we haven't booked cruises sometime because she has that fear. So you might book it for your kids and you would say like, I don't know, you don't want it to be a tragic experience. You want it to be a magic experience for them. So
I would
kinda ask
say
those questions.
when reviewing again, like Disney's got it on the rooms for sure. You're not going to be disappointed on the rooms. They've got it, I think, over any ship if we're talking about just standard cabins, veranda cabins, what have you. Disney has got it on the dining experience because not only do you have the rotational dining, but you do have good options up on deck. You do have a good buffet option. You do have 24-hour room service, and you do have elevated dining, which we only barely touched on. These ships have where you pay a little extra, but you're going to go adults only, by the way. Adults
You
only
saying
for the
that
elevated.
triggered something else in my memory. A lot of these cruise lines have geared away from seafood-based buffet items that are like shrimp, stuff like that. Disney, last time I've been on, they still have like, you know, like a cold bar kind of thing where you've got like, you know, peel and eat shrimp kind of things like that. Those are still available. Not so much on other ships. You might get in the new Icon classes and like Utopias. They see like shorter sailings.
Yeah.
They do stuff that's nice with like some options like lobster, ceviche, all that kind of stuff. But Disney still does that.
Yeah.
And it used to be on the other ones, but they don't do it as often.
Yeah.
But those are things to mention. They're,
So-
they're buffet items and they change a lot of things. It is more the same each day. I like their breakfast stuff on Disney. I know there's been times they've had like little steaks at like breakfast and all. So I like steak and egg kind of things. I've had that with Disney. Can't say that's all the time. Don't quote me on it, guys. Man, where's the steak, Josh? Well, you know what? Get one at dinner and bring it to breakfast the next day. I don't know what to tell you. But they have great options and things. The little quick service things or wherever
They
they
have
have
free.
is good.
No, I'm saying free. Nothing's free on a Disney
ice
cruise.
cream?
You've paid the ice cream. There's
But it's
soft
the
serve
best
ice
one.
cream.
Okay.
You can go up and get yourself that. That is so great for
I'm
the
really
kids.
good at making those. But I'll give you an example. Royal, again, comparison. It's like a frozen yogurt kind of like free ice cream. They do it for you so you don't get these idiots that just do stuff, which is nice having them just hand you, let's see, what do you want? Disney actually does that now too.
Yeah, since COVID, I think they changed
do it.
it.
And it's usually like on the Wish, it was behind the thing. They're like, oh, what do you want? You just get it. It's actual like soft serve ice cream, and it's delicious. It's like more like the
different
milk flavors.
flavors.
Like it's
you
that
can get a
creamy,
Dole Whip on the ship as well.
Oh, forget about it.
You get a boozy Dole Whip too.
It's good.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's why I don't do the ones on Royal. I'm like, it just doesn't compare. You go and actually have a nice soft serve.
Talking about
kind of McDonald's soft serve kind of like taste to it.
Talking about the elevated dining experiences, we would highly recommend Paolo Brunch. Yeah. Paolo Brunch is top notch. We had a fantastic server, beautiful view. It's adults only. Any of these high-end restaurants are not going to be somewhere you can take the kids. And that's when kids clubs, because that's something we didn't even touch on. They have clubs for your kids. Very great security where the kids get basically buzzed in and out. You know, they can let you know if your kid needs to be picked up, but they can make friends, and they're for all different age groups segregated out. And then if you want to check it out, they do have open houses where you can go, the parents can go with the kids. Otherwise, the parents aren't with the kids. But Enchanting we haven't tried yet, but Remy, Paolo, these restaurants are phenomenal. When we go as a family, I don't tend to do dinner there because dinner with the family is a big draw to me on the ship. And I don't want to not have dinner with my son if he's with me. Adults, yeah, sure, we could do it. But
I'll have dinner with all of you. I'll just go up there like this.
But I highly recommend trying that as, you know, something like if you get the brunch. They're only going to do it on sea days, though. They don't do those brunches on port days.
Well, as we come to more of a conclusion of this, because we don't want to take too long on it, and then you guys watch
We're going to have to do another episode on this because there's so much
will.
fireworks at sea. They're the ones that do fireworks at sea,
We'll
guys.
always have more to say about it, and we might do another episode into this.
Drop your questions in the comments. We would like to know what else you want to know.
One thing I will say, and we said the advantages of booking DVC, or not booking, but buying DVC at sea. DVC at sea.
That's what
DVC. Copyright. No, DVC. SEA.
DVC.
So when you go in there, they usually have deals. It's advantageous to do your contract while you're on that and get some of the deals that they do on that. So keep that in mind. Plus, you can go if you're a DVC member and get stuff each day. From there, they give you little free gifts.
Yeah, also, go to the little parties they have for like new people.
Okay, we will add one more story to this. They do a DVC mixer one of the days. They're like, it's their little gathering, and they give you this drink. It's a shimmery drink that tastes like Windex. And there's another one that's non-alcoholic.
Mozzie loved the mocktail version. He loved
whatever
the
we drank. I'm like,
it was like hypnotic. I don't know. It was not good.
No, it was Windex.
Not good.
I was like, what is this?
I'm
the one in there going, this tastes awful. And
you were turning down a free drink. You know it's got to be bad. But they're also, I was going to say, if you're non-DVC, they do encourage people because they want you to sign up. There are also ones that is like a mixer for if you've never been DVC. Go to those.
They do little trivia things in there, and they do little contests to give away certain little things.
Yeah.
Just little.
But like I said a second ago, fireworks at sea. The whole Pirates of the Caribbean party that they do out on the deck, and they set off fireworks. I mean, that's incredible. Like, there are these things, guys, when we're talking about the money, and I know it's so hard to wrap this up because we have so much to say, but I didn't even get into all the things about, you know, handicap accessibility and the things right on that. I will say this, to push it off, he doesn't know who we are, but Wheel Around the World with Shane does a great video breaking down the accessibility on Disney cruises and where he thinks they could improve, and where like one of the big things he said was there's automatic doors to get outside, but the second door is a push. So you hit a button to go, but then there's a second door that you have to push. And he's like, that's something. Or the pool accessibility.
Like I said, we'll get into more of that stuff in the
I would say, hands down, if you can make it happen, and if you are a Disney fan, we already know there are two types of people when it comes to Disney fans. The people that, when it comes to staying on property, say there's no reason to splurge in a luxury resort when you can just do a value. And we say, that's fine. Yeah. You may feel the same way about a Disney cruise and say, to us, I don't think. You may think that. But the magic is so different. Just the characters being around. You just feel like you are in that same Disney bubble when you are on a Disney cruise. I went on Royal Caribbean with Josh. We had a lovely time. But there's a missing magic that you get on Disney Cruise, and the service is the number one. Fill out that survey, guys. They care more about that survey than they do about their tip, because that's how they're going to move up in this industry and in this organization. And they need you to fill out that survey. So always do that.
Well, keep in mind one thing, and I'll add this as the last point before we get into our other little things real quick, is the amount of money is substantial. Yeah. But Disney does do promotions. And like when we were on there last time, was a Disney Plus one. It was like kids sail free. Mm-hmm. So when you like pay for the first two adults.
They also have placeholders when you're on a cruise.
And you can pay over time. And remember this, guys. It's like you can do a Disney cruise and pay over time, and it's due the first payment here. Here's your down payment. Here's your last payment.
Talk to your local Disney travel agent about it.
And go through them, guys. I'll be honest with you. Don't book your own Disney cruise. Okay?
You're already paying for the travel agent in the cost.
We've mentioned Rachel before. Go through somebody like that. even our friend Caitlin, even actually, honestly, I have gone through the cruise training and all this stuff just because I was so wanting to know what it was about. Yeah. So I went through that stuff for the travel agency stuff, but I don't book anybody's trips. Don't go ringing me up because I'm like, you'll end up somewhere you don't want to be. I'm like, oh, did it wrong. Yeah. Sorry.
But talk to your local Disney travel agent. Utilize them because they can help you increase the magic. You're already paying for it in the cost of
cruise. Look at your stuff like this, like little neat things. Sometimes it's onboard credits for stuff. Yeah. Sometimes they little kickback stuff. Sometimes they tell you something you didn't know was available or have a different suggestion because there's specials they might know about. Just kidding. They're not being paid by you. Okay, they're not. There's always a kickback into when travel agencies book something. They get that from the actual place. They do not get it from you. They are working for free for you, and the really good ones are really good at what they do.
Yeah, utilize them.
So whoever you go through, make sure you do that. So that being said, where is this thing? I think we're going to go into...
After this 3-hour course on the Disney cruise, and we didn't even cover everything. That's how amazing
we didn't, but you know what we're going to do now?
We are passionate about it, guys. Shout outs.
Man, that was
I love how you totally posed just like the guy. That was perfect. Yeah. I don't know. You guys on Spotify missed
You're missing out on
watching. But good news, Spotify listeners, we do plan on including more bonus content coming up. So we said the visual gags are the gift for the YouTube viewers and the bonus content for Spotify.
Watching, you've been watching this whole time. I wasn't stung by bees. I went on a cruise. So all of this in here, I need to get rid of.
I mean, I'm just living my best life. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. I ate at Chops a lot of the nights. That was great. Do the dining
shout out, Josh. You want to give a shout out first, or you want me to do shout outs?
No, you're doing the shout outs. You already said.
All right. I want to give a shout out to a friend we have made on social media, Dylan. And if you don't know who Dylan is, please give him a follow on we'll have to tag it below because it's kind of long, but it's like universally Disney and everything. But Dylan is such a great friend that we have made. Dylan is an ultimate hype man, always promoting our stuff, but also one of our favorite things is always commenting on the videos, and not just like great video, but like in depth. You can tell like watching the video, having opinions about it. So you need to find him, look in the comment section of any of our videos, you'll find him. But we want to give a shout out to Dylan because we really do appreciate you being a listener, being our Disney friend, and we look forward to getting to meet you eventually in person at one of our upcoming trips. So that would be awesome. We also do want to give a shout out to all of our 2,000 followers plus on Instagram now. Thank you guys for all of you that helped make that happen because we really are trying to grow this organically. We do want it to be people that really are, fans of ours as far as like what we're doing. You know what I mean? Fans like we're celebrities or something like that. We mean fans of what we're doing. But we do want to thank you guys, each of you that tags us in any of those follower things, any of you guys that just spread the word about us. God knows we have made some really awesome friends on there, and we appreciate you guys so much. So on that note, I want to say Josh and I have put together a 2,000 follower giveaway. So make sure you're following us on our socials at BBT Magic Podcast on both Instagram and on TikTok. We do also have a Facebook page for dinosaurs, but and then if you are watching this on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified.
That's good.
Any new content, and then if you are on Spotify, please click follow. But I can't stress enough, I love when you guys comment. When I go on and see that little notification bell that says there's comments, I love it. I go on and I respond to every single one of you. So, but
sometimes keep an eye out. You even put it, I swear she's so fast.
Keep an eye out though, guys. Watch our stories.
Like just click submit.
Yes, watch our stories on there because that's always a fun time. But keep a watch out for our 2,000 follower giveaway.
Nice, and also a short shout out to
Alonzo.
Awful. Angelo and Alyssa. So, and again, congratulations, guys, on your engagement and your upcoming wedding. In, I think 2027, I want to say they're getting married. Okay. So congratulations to you guys. And I want to point out that this episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle. And Theme Park Chuckle has this, hey, you guys, Typhoon Lagoonies Never Say Die t-shirt for all you Lagoonies out there.
I love you, Chunk. You're going to get crushed.
Yeah, Sloth loves Chunk and we love this shirt. So here you go. Why don't you check it out and skip to Malou. Yeah. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us. Please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.